Good afternoon, traders. This is the chart review for the S&P futures for 6/6/2019. I wanted to go over a couple of the calls that I made in the prep video this morning. So I talked about this area being very thin and getting a fast move through there, and we'll talk more about that. I had pointed out this small volume node right underneath that's really hard to see, but we'll cover it again. It only traded up right into the bottom of it, but great pullback. You'll see that in the clip. And then I also talked about this area and how you could get a fast move through here and how it traded back down. So let me give you the clips and I'll be right back. So showing you that this area is pretty thin right through here, not a lot of positions, so you could get a fast run once it gets up over this level, which they're fighting right now. I think that it's got momentum when it comes up and hits. And then 2854 is the little spike right below it. So could hit this, bounce, make another bounce. It's like the two-leg, because there's nothing up here, nobody to help them hold back the flood. So they want to control this little area right here, and you can see that they're trying to keep it from breaking the structure right at this point. A thing to be worrisome about, I guess, is on the downside that if it gets down below the little cluster that they built, there's no volume in here, right? This is all empty, so it could fall fast all the way back to 28.29 in a hurry. Okay, so I hope that those clips show you the value of the pre-market analysis that I'm doing, kind of trying to point out the areas that have interest on the chart. There's trades all over the chart all the time, so if you like the analysis, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. Leave comments, any kind of questions, helps the channel. And let's look at the rest of the charts. Let's do it. Okay, so let's get back to the chart review. We're looking at the daily chart. We had a nice up day today in the market. It's almost kind of like we've challenged the bottom of this node in maybe pulling off at this point. So I talked about this in all the other videos, that we hit the bottom of the node, bounce off, and then we test the top of the node and bounce back again. Of course, I could be wrong because they're actively buying the market right at this second. If we were to kind of look at this in an open mind kind of situation, if we were going to get a good pullback off of this, then we would expect this to continue down, and I think that it would only come back into the 2793, maybe 2800 area is a very popular level, and then it would start to make its next leg up at that point. If it comes up a little bit higher than that, then I think still the 2800 area would be a good pullback. We may not get any pullback, but it's just something to think of here as a pattern, right? So we've traded up into a cluster. This is our big cluster. This is where we would expect to get the corrective maneuver. If this is really kind of like an impulse, it would get corrective here and then continue on. I did want to show, I showed this in the other video at one point, and I just want to show this again. So if we take the measurement from the very top of this candle and go right to the point of that, and we take it and we put it on the top of that wave right there, we did a perfect measured move, right? So two legs down into what was basically support right here, and then we've got the bounce, and this was an impulse leg, so this could be a corrective leg right here, and so this could be a big impulse leg taking us to a high. So that's another way to look at the market right at this point. Anything else on the daily? Big move, right? So we were 27.28, and we've already moved up 110 points here in just a couple days. So keep that in mind. So this is only the leg down. When I'm profiling the wave and not including this wave up right here. That's why I made this second profile, just to give you an idea of what I'm doing. And so you can see as we came up, this big first move, it traded into the bottom of this big node. There was quite a bit of chop in there. Second one up, right? We moved up into the top of this big node right here. We pulled back a little bit. Now we moved back up. We moved across this light area right here, and now we're pushing back. So the next move could be to the top of this, or it could continue on to this 28.79 area. So just to show you, kind of how the progression works. You're bouncing off these nodes and stuff like that. 240. We just basically traded right into this big old gap, traded up right into absolutely this positively sharp little low volume node right here between the nodes. This 28.53, and I'm pretty sure if we look back on 50, there was some action on 50 also, but we'll look at that here in a second. And so you have not really a top and tail right here, but this was a pretty good pullback off of that area, and it looks like it pulled back down into the top of this node, and now it's going to bounce off this node. So the way that the price action works, and what I keep on trying to explain in every video, and I don't know if I do a good job or not, is we're ping-ponging between nodes, right? And eventually one side trades through, you get a small pullback and pushes through, and I've talked about it in other videos, you have the 60-40 chance. So you have a 60% chance of this is, we bounce off of here and continue up, or 40% chance that it just falls through. So you never have like super high odds that the trade's going to work perfect. But anyways, 60-minute. So you got that big tail that came down. This is interesting that it traded right back down, traded right into the support right here, and this is where it's finding its bounce, right across this volume node right here. And if you look over, that's right into this gap right here. This is the low volume node, and I've talked quite a bit about low volume nodes in the last couple of videos. So I marked the very top of this with a line right here. And so if we pull over here, I always talk about market symmetry at some point. Look at where this line came and traded to. It's across the bottom of that candle. The bottom of that candle, kind of the open of that candle, the close of that candle, and it even continues farther back, across all the tops of the close and opens right here. And you've got definitely a kind of like a trading level right in through here. You see all the wicks, and all the opens and closes are all clustered right around this line right here. But so I don't know if I can explain this well. Why are opens and closes and highs and lows important? Well, this is a 60-minute chart, so to think about it, to get an open or a close right at that particular point together, right, it had to be trading right there for a little while, and to get a whole bunch of them that kind of match up, that means that it had to be trading there over a certain amount of time. So there's something to the level That's the way I kind of look at it. It's not wholly coincidence that you get a whole bunch of opens and closes and highs and lows at the same level. It's just that it has prices spent a lot of time at those levels. Probably not a good explanation. We'll come back to the intraday here in a minute. I want to continue through with some of the other ones. Again, we saw that sell off right here, and then on this side we got up above the level. This was all thin area right here. We traded right up into the candles right here, and you can see again this is a completely different chart type. This is a tick chart, not even a time chart, a tick chart. So it's created a whole different way. And when you look at this top right here, it tends to line right up with all the opens and closes and highs and lows. So just, there's a reason to look at the symmetry and kind of pick it out that way. 12,000 tick. Again, I can zoom in on this area over here. And I'm not sure if I can, unfortunately I make dark charts, but we traded right here, right into this gap, and again, another low volume node. I keep on pointing them out, low volume nodes. That's where you get the trading between the two nodes, and that's where I tend to, draw lines for scalping levels, because I know it trades up into the scalping levels, and usually it's going to trade back and forth and give you a point in the other direction. So hope that kind of makes sense. I went over that quite a bit in one of the prior videos about how I draw the scalping levels and the reason why. Not much there. Here's the symmetry. So we just continued up. Look at these great touches, great levels. Even here it didn't really pull back off the level all that much, but you still would have took a point out of that. 44, 45, 75. Yeah, you would have got it. And even up here, back down to here, up to there. The levels just really kind of work out. I want to do a little trick here though, and remove all these and just show you how this kind of works. I didn't have to find any kind of level down here. I've said this before. These are range extensions, right? Symmetry, range extensions. So we get a level and we trade a 100% range extension on the move. So if I take and draw this again, I'm going to go from the high down to this low, right? So from the bottom of this candle right here, right, you got 100% range extension when you fell through it. And if I take this guy, I'm going to pretty much guess that when you fell through this one, you got like 100% range extension right there. And then if no telling, I didn't plan this out. I think I screwed that up. I moved it or something. Oh, range extension wasn't quite perfect. Let's see. I moved that one. Sorry, guys. So pretty close right there. And then if I go put this guy right there, 100% when you fall through, 100% range extension there. So I know it looks like voodoo, but I don't know. Draw it on the chart, test it out for yourself, see if you can figure out the science behind it. I don't know. I don't have good reasonings for it, but you're making 100% range extensions when you're blasting away from it. Let's go back and look at the intraday. Enough with the voodoo, right? So I told you we could move fast through this area early this morning. It comes back, trades back through. Where does it trade back into? Right into the high volume node. Here's the gap. See where it bounces? Right in the gap, right between the two nodes. Bounces off. You get a pretty good bounce. You would have got, really I called it at 28, I think. Back on the other chart, 28. So if you would have took that, you would have got a 31.75. You would have got quite a couple points out of that. And then this traded back down into the top of this area right here. And it's pretty much this node right here. So if I probably pull this back. So if we look at this, this is pretty much the gap right here, right? Here's my scalping line. I drew you a scalping line there. So, I mean, I draw these lines way before the market's open, right? I think it was like 4 o'clock this morning that I put all these lines in here, and we'll see how well they, you know, price trades around them. So, bounce here through the level is already tested and traded through the level, bounces up. Where does it go? Right into my line, the bottom of this cluster right here, the high volume right there, bounces off, trades back down, trades through. It's already tested this, and so you get this little push through, and what happens is you're getting this guy right here, right? So we're including this little volume node right here, and it's the top of this node right here. There's like the low volume, there's the high volume. So we trade right into that node, and it stops it, bounces up, goes through. We've already tested this to the upside. We break through, find support on it, trade through, still chopping around, and then we're up into that area. You get a very slight pullback off of this, 28.34 down to 32.25. You would have got your point of scalp off of that. Trades up through, trades back down and through. See this wide bar right here? I would not take this level. You've got a bounce in front of it and a wide bar right there. So, and if you've watched the other videos, then you know that I don't like wide bars. Wide bars are weak. They're not gonna hold. Wide bar up, wide bar down. Wide bars down, wide bars up, right? Wide bars down, wide bars up. It's the same thing. Wide bars up, wide bars down. You know, you can go look at charts and figure that out. Let's see what else we got here. I put this profile on here for some reason. I think it was just to show you the top of this node and where we traded down to, right into the gap, right? Let's make sure. Oop. Put that guy back. So there's the high volume, there's the gap right there, right? We traded down into it. This one's going to match up with the bottom of this one, and it matches up with that gap right there. But let's kill that. Let's continue with the scalping lines. You do get a hit off of this. I'm not sure if I would have took it, but you definitely get a point off of that. You trade back up. You would have got a point off of this one if you took it. 28.34 down to 32.50. Trades all the way through. I think you take too much heat, even though you do get this sell off right here. Hard to see, I know. But there's a big old candle wick right here. So if you would have jumped in 28.41.75 down to this level, 40.50, you get the full point out of that scalp right there. finds it again, trades across. Too much heat right here. You would, even though it eventually sells off, you would have took too much heat. But 28.50, 25, and 28.40, 9.50. So not quite 0.75, not a full point. So bad line there. Comes back down. You got this big old bounce right in front of this line. Not sure I would take that at that point. And it trades back through, and that's pretty much the end of the day. But yeah, that's how I determine the lines. I look for the areas, and I try and trade against volume. Delta was very positive for the day, even though it ended at neutral. It had been down pretty far at negative 8,000 at one point, and managed to buy all the way back up to 6,000. So they put about 14,000 buys in here to jack this market up. Anything else that I can tell you for tomorrow? So they've been doing most of the work overnight, getting up over the levels. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do a big purchase and put us up over 28.60 by morning. It's definitely not outside of the range, but it's a little bit far. It's 20 points for them. But we'll check it in the morning. I hope you had a good day trading. Hope the levels help those that got the pre-market video, and I will catch you in the morning. If you like the analysis, please subscribe, and if you have any questions or anything, please leave them in the comments. Any comments would be great to help the channel. But yeah, catch you in the morning. Take care.